Hey everyone, and welcome to another Worm Whisperer video. Would you love to get started with your own worm farm? Not sure where and how to get your worms? To get started? Stay tuned for this great information. And as always, if you enjoy this video or learn something new, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop me a like. It really helps me to get in the mood to make more worm farming content for all of you great worm farming friends. So let's get into the video. Have you ever thought about starting a worm farm and you have looked online and saw other worm farmers selling their worms to people like you, new worm farmers? You then immediately thought, heck, I have tons of worms right in my garden already. I'll just dig those up and use some of them in my worm farm. Well, there's nothing stopping you from doing so. There are some drawbacks to using worms that come from your indoor garden. I will review each of these with you now. Species suitability. Not all types of worms are suitable for indoor composting. Common garden worms such as earthworms are soil dwellers that burrow deep into the earth, unlike red wigglers, which are surface dwellers and often used in vermiculture. The conditions in a worm bin may not be suitable for garden worms, earthworms, causing them to die off or escape in your worm bin. If you can find red wigglers in your outdoor environment, they may work well, however. Disease and pests. Garden worms could potentially bring diseases, pests, and unwanted organisms into your indoor environment. This could include harmful bacteria, fungi, or pests that could affect the health of your worm bin or even spread to your indoor plants or living space with an indoor worm bin. Temperature and moisture control. Garden worms may not adapt well to the consistent temperature and moisture conditions of an indoor worm bin. They are adapted to outdoor environment where conditions fluctuate and their health may suffer in a controlled indoor environment. Food supply. Garden worms are used to a diverse diet provided by the soil and outdoor organic matter. In an indoor worm bin, their diet may be limited to what you feed them, which might not provide all the nutrients they need for optimal health and reproduction indoors. Handling. Garden worms are not used to being handled or disturbed as frequently as they might be in an indoor worm bin. Regular disturbance can stress the worms, potentially affecting their health and productivity. If you are not sure what types of worms you are using, then they may not work well for an indoor worm farm. When buying your worms, you know what type of worms you will get and that they will work towards your goals of setting up a new worm farm. Getting everything off to a great start is essential for the future of your worm farming success. Where to find composting worms outdoors. First, composting worms like to hang out on the top of the soil, typically where you will find rotting organic matter. By slowly pushing back the organic materials, you will see composting worms living under it. They should be dark red and not quite as large as earthworms or night crawlers. If you can find red composting worms in your outdoor environment, you will need enough of them to start a thriving worm bin. We suggest at least 100 to 200 worms if you would like to get your worm bin started more quickly. The new worms will start to find each other in the bin and lay cocoons that will increase your worm population over time. Finding some outdoor worms and bringing them in for an indoor worm farm may be great if you would like to teach your children more about worm farming. But if you are looking to create a consistent supply of worm compost, called worm castings, then I don't really recommend it. Thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments if you have ever brought in outdoor worms for your worm farm indoors and how you made out with that. Thank you for watching and happy worm farming, everyone, and I will see you next time.